Boom. Who do you think you're dealing with, huh? Joy Bananas. Thought you were dealing with Joy Bananas. Unbelievable, Naeem. How many times do I got to tell you? You're not dealing with Joy Bananas. Even there in Bangladesh, Naeem, with your honeys, your 32 Bangladeshi honeys laid up with you right now. I know you're booed up with your honeys right now watching the live stream. Even you, Naeem, should know you're not dealing with Joy Bananas. Huh? Do you understand? Do you understand? All right, gentlemen, let's fucking rock. Let's get into this shit. All right? Saturday. What do I talk about every single time we're live? This is the time to increase the gap, okay? I want you to think about your situation. Are you happy with it? Are you not happy with it? Do you see the progress in your life taking place? Do you not see it? Do you feel stuck? Do you feel like you're progressing? You're growing? What is it? Ask yourself. Do you actually feel like you're growing? Huh, Naeem? And then, based off of that answer, you should know what the weekends are for. Only two things you can do on the weekend that are productive. Either increase the gap, if you're already doing the things that you know you're supposed to be doing, and defeating the competition and defeating those around you, trying to take your properties, trying to take your women, trying to take your resources, everything away from you. You're either increasing the gap, or if you're somebody who's just starting to do something like that, somebody who's just starting to grow, starting to get into business, starting to open your mind and realize that the life that's been laid out in front of you is not a life that's going to be worth living. Now you need to close the gap. You need to close the gap on the individuals like myself who are out competing, out working, out earning, out doing everything than you. The weekends is when you do it. 104 days a year is every weekend. People who take the weekends off take 104 days off every single year, and they wonder to themselves, why can't I ever get ahead? Why am I always paycheck to paycheck? Why am I not driving Lamborghinis, Ferraris, etc.? Well, because there's 104 days out of the year in which you decide you're going to shut it down. You're going to turn it off. You're going to chill. What do you have time to chill for? Did you retire? Do you have hundreds of millions of dollars that I don't know about? There's a 99.9% chance I have way more money than you, and I'm working on the weekend. So what do you think you should be doing? This is just the reality. I'm just being honest. What do you think you should do? Okay? So let's get into it. The university meeting. People in the Taylor's Code, we're rocking, we're fucking working. We already got double-digit live viewers across all platforms. That's what we do. We're growing, we're building. That's what's supposed to happen. Whenever you're giving the right message, whenever you're consistent with your message, whenever the vision is clear, people will be attracted to that because we're actually going to do something worthwhile fighting for, worthwhile educating ourselves for, worthwhile building for ourselves. So, Naeem, do I start with a song? Do they deserve a song, Naeem? I'm going to leave it to you. Put it in the chat, Naeem. Do they deserve a song today before we get into the meeting, or do we just fucking jump right into it and just get cracking? You tell me, Naeem. Go ahead, Naeem. Tell us. Everybody's waiting for you. Do we get a song or not? By the way, while Naeem decides our fate and whether or not we listen to a song today, like the stream, comment on the stream, retweet, fucking Twitch it, kick it, whatever the fuck the term is for those platforms. Do whatever you got to do to show some support. Naeem, I don't want hearts. Are we doing music or not? I appreciate the support, Naeem. We're getting more live viewers rolling in right now, but do we get a song or not, Naeem? The universe is in your hands. The reality in which we're going to live in. Yes? Guys, if anything bad ever happens from this day moving forward, just know it was because of Naeem's decision for us to listen to this song. That's the reality he chose for us. That's the reality in which we must live, is the reality in which we listen to a song. We don't need music, just juice. Hey, John said, fuck the song. You know what, Naeem, you were overridden. No song today. Let's get right into the juice. So, the topic of today's stream is perpetual self-education. This ties into the law of the lid, which we've talked about recently on one of these streams. And it's a fact that just because you leave high school, just because you leave college, that doesn't mean your education stops. And for 99% of people, that is where their education stops. As soon as they stop showing up to high school, as soon as they stop showing up to college, that's it. Their education, their desire for knowledge, them actually growing as an individual stops there. They stop at the college level. And so that's why you see people not growing, not earning more, not developing themselves, because there's no self-motivation to educate. When education is what's going to put you ahead of the competition, whether that's in your current career, whether that's in your business where you're trying to outcompete other people, or even in your faith and your personal life where you're trying to grow as a whatever religion it is that you are. Perpetual self-education is imperative to your growth as a person. The more educated you are, the more knowledgeable that you've become through experience and through knowledge, the higher your lid is. The higher your lid, the more talented people you can attract to your business, the wealthier clients you can attract to your business, and the more money you're going to be able to make consequentially. So you have to have a desire to perpetually self-educate. So I'll give you a first story, and then I'll talk about some of the things you're able to do. So my grandfather is a fantastic example of what self-education looks like, okay? My grandfather was born in 1920 in Italy to a very poor family. No money, no education. He literally, quite literally, went to school to the second grade. He learned just enough to be able to read and write. He went to school until second grade. He was born in 1920. Very poor before the Second World War. Okay? When he finished school, he went right to work. He went to work, helped bringing money in for the family. Think about that. Second grade. He was already done. He's helping the family trying to make money. He got into the band. He started playing instruments. Yeah, that was one way he made money. And then by trade, he learned to become a tailor. Okay? My grandfather is quite easily one of the most intelligent people I've ever met in my life. But he only went to school until the second grade. So how is that? How did my grandfather become so intelligent? Why is he a genius? Which he is. He is a genius. My grandfather would always say, we come from a long line of geniuses. So that's where I get my genius from. Okay? That's his words, not mine. He's the one. He said it. So how is he so intelligent? How did he learn so many different things? If he only went to school until the second grade, don't you think he would be a fool? Most people do stay that way. Most people are foolish if they only go to school till second grade and they stay peasants. But what my grandfather did is he was very curious. He was very self-educated. So when he learned to play instruments, he only learned to play the clarinet at first when he was in the marching band in Italy. So they used to travel, him and his brothers, from town to town in Italy, and they would go play in the towns and they would collect money for playing. It was a big marching band, okay? He only learned how to play the clarinet. But over time, through his self-education, through his own curiosity himself, he learned how to play the mandolin, learned how to play the piano, learned how to play the guitar. These are literally plays all these instruments, okay? He educated himself on how to play these things, even without the school, because he was curious to learn. Guess what else he did? Because he understood how to read music, sheet music, right? He started to compose music. So he would literally write songs, not just lyrics. No, I'm talking about the notes, the chords, composing the music, would compose music, and he would have people play the music. Bands would take it. He would write waltzes. He wrote ballads. He did very old school Italian songs, right? He would write the actual music. He was a genius. And he made fantastic music. He actually has a YouTube account, which I should link in one of these videos, where he put images and pictures to his videos or to his songs, so you could watch his town of Torino di Sangro, Italy, and he shows you the town, he shows you where he grew up, and in the background is literally his music playing that he wrote. Not only did he write sheet music, my grandfather taught himself how to be an artist. So he was a painter as well. He would paint multiple different types of paintings, but he had them all hung up in his home. He sold a few. But this is what he did. He taught himself how to paint and how to be an artist. So he would draw things. He would paint things. He didn't go to school for that. He didn't go to college for that. He went to school to the second grade. You'd think this person's not very intelligent. They wouldn't be able to do much. No, he taught himself all these things. And I got to show you guys this stuff. This is incredible. He was a fucking genius. So he wrote music, played multiple different instruments, taught himself how to be an artist. So he was a painter, fantastic painter. So he would draw murals and paintings of his town in Torino di Sangro that he remembered from growing up, because he moved to the U.S. in the 60s with my family. So he loved his town. He adored his town in Torino. And so he would draw these murals that were beautiful. Okay, I got to give you his YouTube so you can see it. So he taught himself how to be an artist. My grandfather knew Italian. He could write and speak Italian. You know what he did when he came to the U.S.? Literally grabbed a dictionary and, like a good immigrant, hardworking immigrant that came here legally, learned the English language because he had to open up a tailor shop in the States to be able to make money. So he was also a tailor. He could tailor suits. He was fantastic at it. So he would get an English dictionary. He would literally sit there and he would learn English. Self-educated. Perpetually self-educating himself. He made the decision to open the dictionary. I'm going to learn English because I want to be able to express myself. And that was one of his greatest frustrations whenever he had come over to the U.S. He was a poet as well. So he wrote poems and literature. He wrote his own memoir, his own life story as well. Fantastic book. So he was a poet as well. He had such a fantastic grasp of the Italian language and spoke Italian beautifully, just the same way I speak English beautifully, right? His biggest frustration was he wasn't able to express himself and articulate himself to the same level with the same degree of, let's call it, beauty in his words in the English language as he was Italian. So he got a dictionary and would literally study and read the entire dictionary so that he could get more English words. He could better articulate himself. He could better make his points. Because somebody like him, especially as intelligent as he was, if you're not able to communicate those ideas, another point I've talked about in the past, if you're not able to communicate those ideas to other people, you're not as smart as you think you are. To other people, they don't really know what you're talking about. How intelligent are you, or how much does it matter how intelligent you are if you're not able to articulate your ideas out to the world? It's as if they never existed. I've talked about this before. So he educated himself. Okay, fast forward. So he's bilingual now. My father marries a woman that speaks Spanish. You know what my grandfather did? He didn't have to do this. The wedding was in South America, so they all spoke Spanish there. My grandfather didn't have to do this. Guess what he did now? Learn Spanish. I remember it like it was yesterday. Whenever I was growing up, I would go over to his home. He had an English and Spanish dictionary. It was a double dictionary. It would have both it would have the words in both languages and then the definitions in both languages. And he studied Spanish. Then he learned Spanish so he could be able to speak to my mother. So he could be able to speak to the people in Venezuela whenever they went to Venezuela for the wedding. Why? Because it mattered to him. He cared to be able to communicate with people. He cared to be able to educate himself. That self-education, that desire for knowledge is what grows you as a person, is what keeps your mind sharp. So the whole point I'm trying to make is, even with a second grade education, my grandfather was clearly a genius. He did so many different things. He learned so many different things, and he did them at a high level. Artist, painter, composer, musician, poet, trilingual, okay? Very educated. And my grandfather would say things about the U.S. government, about the way this country was run, about the way his country was run, etc., back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, that nobody at the time would have believed were true or was possible or even made sense. 20, 30 years later, he's proved completely right. But he had the desire for knowledge. My grandfather, up until his late 80s and 90s, was making YouTube videos and uploading them to his YouTube channel. He lived to 101 years old. He was using the computer till he was 100 years old. He was making videos till he was 100 years old. He would go on Google Maps. This is how fantastic my grandfather was. So when Google Maps first came out, he was all excited about it because he could go back to Italy on Google Maps, even though he wasn't able to travel there, and get all the images of his town. And so he would put together compilations and images that he would pull from Google Maps, put it into a video, put his own music behind it, and upload it to YouTube. So people could listen to his music that he composed and then that he played, and then watch the video of his town going through the town in Italy. He was doing this in his 80s and his 90s. He was on Facebook, speaking to me, talking to everybody. He would always keep in contact with all of his friends from Italy till he was 100 years old. 100 years old. He was learning the computer. You hear people nowadays, it's so funny. In the industry I'm in, whenever we do sales and we talk to people in their 60s, there are people in their 60s that tell me, I don't know how to use a cell phone. I don't know how to use a computer. I can't get on the internet. I'm pretty computer stupid. And my grandfather's born in 1920. He's on fucking YouTube putting together videos that are getting thousands of views. So is it that you can't figure it out, or is it just one person had a higher desire to educate, to learn things, to be productive, even in their later years, not giving up, actually educating themselves at all times? That's why he was able to do it. So the overarching message is you have to always self-educate. So how do we apply this to our businesses, to our network, what we're trying to grow here? Well, the way we apply it is you got to be curious, okay? So I'll give you the best example for me. My most important goal in life is how do I become as rich as humanly possible? Hundreds of millions of dollars, billions of dollars. This is truly, I showed you guys this before. Hold on. I have on my notes for my goals, my sticky notes, right? You will be a billionaire by 40 years old. Billion. B as in boy. A billionaire by 40. Okay, so those are my goals. That's how big my goals are. So all I'm focused on right now, on educating myself on, is how do I make money? And how do I make as much money as humanly possible in as short of a period of time as possible? Okay? So what do I do to educate myself? These are the things they don't teach you in college. You go to school for a finance degree, for an accounting degree, just like Bobby. They teach you the things that you need to know in general in practice, but they're not actually teaching you how to generate wealth. They're not teaching you how to make money. So what did I do? On the weekends, after all week hustling, building my insurance business years ago, on the weekends, I would always pick one topic, and I would say to myself, okay, this is what I'm going to learn this weekend. And I'm going to spend all weekend educating myself on that until I understand exactly how this works. So then I can use this knowledge to make me more money. What did I start with? First thing I started with was loans. So I want to educate myself on loans and credit. How does this work? How do people leverage their money? How do people, Teresa, Copper, follower, subscriber, whatever the fuck that is. Thanks for subscribing. How do I understand how to leverage loans and debt to be able to make money? Okay, let's think about this. So I literally just educated myself on it. And then I learned, well, how do banks make money? Why can they loan you money? Well, because they generate a spread on the money that they lend out. So what's the big scam of banks? You put your money in the bank, we'll keep it safe for you. We'll keep it safe for you. It's in the bank, it's safe. Put it in a safety deposit box. That's the whole fucking shtick. Now, before, they used to pay you interest on your savings account that would be meaningful. Now is virtually nothing. It's a fugaz, it's a bullshit. But the idea is you put your money in the bank, they pay you 2%. Let's call it 2%. Obviously, it's not 2%. Let's call it 2% interest on your money. Okay? So, you give your money to the bank. Let's say you give them $100,000. They pay you 2% on that $100,000. $2,000. Okay? So, they're going to turn around, and how do they make money on loans? They're going to take your money, your $100,000, and they're going to go loan that out 9 different times, which is the whole fugaz of the system that they can do that. But let's just say they loan it out one time. They loan out your $100,000. They're going to charge 4% on the interest on that loan. That's how they make money. It's an arbitrage. It's a spread. Okay? So they pay you 2%. They loan it out at 4%. So what do? How much percent do they make? Everybody goes, oh, they make 2%. No, they don't make 2%. They make 100%. They make 100% profit. Because it's not 2 to 4%. No, 4% is double than 2%. That's 100% spread. So they make 100% spread on your money. Okay? That's how a loan works. I educated myself on this. What are the different types of loans? How do loans work? How do banks make money? Okay, this is how banks make money. They're taking money from somebody else. They'll maybe pay an interest, which now the whole fucking, it's a beyond a scam because they don't even pay you interest now. Now they're just making money for free. Insane. But the idea would be you pay this certain percent of interest. I can arbitrage this out to somebody else and make profit on top. I'm just flipping. So instead of flipping a pair of sneakers where I buy a pair of sneakers from Nike for $200 and then I turn around and resell it on the open market because it's a high demand for $400, I make a $200 spread on Nike. So 100% gain. Well, they're just doing that instead of with sneakers. They're just doing it with money. Okay? So how do I make money? Okay, well, I can look at different things. How about a life insurance policy? Okay, well, if I set up a life insurance policy and I have $100,000 of cash value on this life insurance policy, I can borrow against my cash value, right? It's 100 grand in there. Okay, hold on a second. How does this work? What's the interest rate that the company is going to charge me on this cash value? Some of them 2%, some of them 3%. Okay. Oh, interesting. Hold on a second. So I can borrow 100 grand from myself, not the bank, from myself in my life insurance policy. And I can loan it out to myself at 2% interest. Okay. Is there any way that I can take this 100,000 that I just loaned to myself and make more than 2% on it? I could put it in the S&P if I think it's going to be a good year, maybe get 10, 15%. I could go put it into a property if I think it's going to appreciate more than 2 to 3% a year. That's an idea. That's what people do. I could use it to go, I wouldn't suggest it, but buy crypto, right? Get a return on Bitcoin that's 50%, 100% on your investment. That's arbitrage. You just became your own bank. Congratulations. I just taught you what I learned in a weekend 3 or 4 years ago. So that's how debt works. So that's what these massive companies, massive investors, these people who have large amounts of assets, they'll use their assets to get money loaned out to themselves, turn around and arbitrage it. They'll just make a bigger return on their loan to themselves, pay back the loan, they made profit, right? So this is an example for, home equity loans, or even in crypto, you can do crypto loans, DeFi loans, right? Where you have $100,000 worth of Bitcoin, you can collateralize your 100 grand of Bitcoin to somebody. They'll loan you out 80 G's. You still got your 100 grand of Bitcoin, it's collateral there, but they give you 80 G's against your 100 grand of collateral. You take that 80 G's and you go pump it into ETH. If you think ETH BTC pair is going to pump, you make more money on the appreciation of Ethereum. You sell your Ethereum for profit, you pay back the 80 grand, but really you profited. Maybe you hit a 2x on ETH. Now you got 160 grand. You pay back that 80, you just profited 80 G's and you got back your 100 grand of Bitcoin. So now instead of having 100 grand, you got 180 grand, you made 80 grand profit on your own loan to yourself. Self-education. I decided to learn it. Now I know it. Now I can make money that way. It just is a decision. You have to have the mentality. I'm going to learn how this shit works. People are making money. People are becoming rich all around the world. Yeah, most people are broke, but there are a lot of rich people. There are a lot of really rich people. And do you really think they're that much better than you, that much more intelligent than you are? I disagree. I know I'm a genius. I'm an intelligent individual. If I put my mind to something, I can figure it out. So it just comes down to me making the decision to figure it out for myself, because the information's out there. So that was one thing. Another thing I learned, credit. How does credit work? How do I build my credit? Does credit matter? How do I learn that? Next thing. What was the next thing I learned? This was all years ago. I decided to make these decisions on the weekends. Let me learn about taxes. I did a whole fucking crash course on taxes. How do I do write-offs? How do I do this, that, and the third, et cetera? Then I learned about bonus depreciation. I learned about, that's whenever you write off the entire value of your vehicle in one tax year. If it's over a certain weight, you can do bonus depreciation, or you can take your vehicle, write off the depreciation over 5 years, over 6 years, whatever it is right now. Talk to your accountant. But there are all these special ways to be able to make tax deductions, right? Bobby will tell you, right? There's all these different ways to be able to deduct on your taxes that people have no idea about. I'll tell you about one of mine, right? Fantastic one I've been using in the insurance industry with the people that I recruit, develop. You can write off a $695 raise up to 9 people. Correct me if I'm wrong, Bobby. It's either 6 or 9 people. That's just instant tax write-off right there. That if you don't know about it, you're just paying that extra money in taxes. You can also write off if you have a Rottweiler or a pit bull or something that can constitute as a guard dog. You can write off that guard dog, your fucking pet, as protection for your business. You can write off the square footage of your office compared to your home, and then take that percentage of the square footage of your office compared to the home and use that to write off your Wi-Fi bill, your electricity bill, your et cetera, right? The best tax breaks come through filing as an S corporation, correct? Another thing that I learned whenever I went on this tax crash course, right? S corporations. So that's actually what mine are filed as, right? After you hit a certain threshold of income, it makes more sense to be an S corporation, right? which, correct me if I'm wrong, Bobby, but once again, how does an S corporation work? I learned this all my fucking self. The reason it's advantageous to do an S corporation is because as an individual, you can actually pay yourself as an employee from your own business when you file as an S corporation. And when you give yourself a reasonable salary, they call it, you actually end up saving money on your business expense or your business taxes. Okay. Correct me if I'm wrong, Bobby, but I remember that's exactly how it worked, right? So you pay yourself out. My accountant does all my shit now, but these are things that I learned. So you can pay yourself a reasonable salary and you end up saving yourself a ton of money in taxes. Again, if you don't know about it, you don't do it. You pay way more money in taxes. And you wonder how these billionaires, multimillionaires save all this money whenever they're making billions and they don't pay any income tax or they don't pay any this tax or that tax. Yeah, because they know the game better than you do. Everybody, it's just like chess. Okay, it's just like chess. The billionaires, the multimillionaires, these rich people, they're not cheating. In most cases. In some cases, they're cheating. But in most cases, they're not cheating. You think it's unfair just because you haven't figured out how to play the game like they do. Magnus Carlsen, when he plays chess, he operates under the same exact rules, the same exact constrictions, the movement of the pieces that you do. It's all the same. We all play with the same rules. The only difference is he has a much better understanding of the rules of the game and how to play than you do. And that's why he fucking annihilates you. It's the same thing with America and the tax code and the system and how to make money. You have to understand, quit lying to yourself and telling yourself, it's just, I don't have something that they do. No. You have the same rules. You have the same stipulations. You have the same opportunity as everybody else. You just haven't learned how to play the game like they can. That's the only difference. So you're going to educate yourself, or you're going to be self-motivated to perpetually educate over your entire lifetime to keep yourself competitive, to keep yourself winning? Or are you just going to let it go? Yeah, I don't feel like learning anything. That's not what works. That's not how it works. Okay? All right. So that was another thing I self-educated on. So what's my point? You got to pick things on the weekends and say, all right, this is what I'm going to learn. Another one, TA. Whenever I decide to get into technical analysis and really deep into investing, I learned how to invest. I learned how investments work. I learned how the markets work. And within years, I became a fucking professional at TA in understanding markets. Did I go to college for it? Did anybody teach me? Did anybody sit me down and give me all the secrets? No. I was hungry for the knowledge. I was hungry for the information. Instead of waiting for somebody else to spoon feed me, expecting somebody to come save me and make me rich, I said, hold on a second. Let me go figure it out then. How does Warren Buffett make all this money? How do these guys invest? How are they making all this money? How are they preventing their currency from being inflated to fucking zero by holding assets as opposed to fiat currency? How are they doing it? I'm not just sitting here. Oh, man. Dude, the price of eggs is $4 now. Holy fuck. Inflation's crazy. Brother, if you're worried about the price of eggs, you're fucking broke. You're poor. I don't give a fuck what the price of eggs is. I don't give a fuck about inflation. Why? Because I own assets. As soon as you own assets, like homes, stocks, crypto, you understand that inflation is a part of the system that allows your assets to appreciate. So why do the people in charge and why are the people who are so rich okay with the DXY nuking and inflation taking place? Well, because they own assets, so they get richer. They don't care. But you, the brokey who can't think outside of the box, thinks that, oh my God, the price of eggs is 2x now. Should have just been buying eggs and hodling them because you would have been a fucking 2x in your money. But instead of buying assets or putting money aside and learning how to get rich, you're worried about the price of eggs because you hold cash and your cash is depreciating and that hurts. And you don't like that. Yet you want to know how you don't have your cash depreciate? You buy a fucking Rolex for 10 bands on a fucking weekday because you're bored and understand that, well, better off that 10 G's in my Rolex with my box and papers that I can sell for more money down the road as opposed to keeping it in my bank account when that 10 G's is going to go to zero over a long enough period of time. But I think different. For me, this is not an expense. This is not me buying something nice. This is just me preserving my wealth in a different way. What's another thing I'm going to buy? I'm going to buy a piece of a fat ass gold chain. It's going to be like 4 bands. Fat ass. Yeah, just bought this all like 2 weeks ago. I'm going to buy the AP once we exit markets. But I was just bored. So like, fuck, I'll get a new Rolex. What was I saying, Ollie? You fucking threw me off the train of thought I was on. Inflation. Holding my money. You fucker, Ollie. I was fucking cooking. What was I saying? Rolex, inflation, fiat currency going to zero. Oh, yeah, I don't look at this as an expense. This is just me. Oh, the gold. Yes. Gold AK. Yeah, I'm going to buy a gold AK-47. The gold chain was the other thing I'm going to buy, right? Gold is pumping to Valhalla. Why? Because BRICS, so Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. BRICS. Why is the price of gold pumping so hard? Do you pay attention to these things? Do you understand how these things work? Have you been educating yourself? Do you educate? What's going on with BRICS right now? It's an organization that's supposed to combat the fact that the U.S. dollar is the Federal Reserve or the world reserve currency. So the world reserve currency status means that trade takes place in U.S. dollars. What was the big mistake that the U.S. made by putting sanctions on Russia? Saying that they can't use U.S. dollars to trade. Well, what do you think Russia's going to do? Just fucking let its economy crumble and lay down and say, oh, we can't use the U.S. dollar. Fuck, we're fucked. No, it creates alliances with other nations who then have to figure out how are they going to transact in things other than the U.S. dollar because they got sanctions placed on them. Well, what else for almost all of human time holds value that people can trade? Gold. Oh, since the 2008 financial crisis, who's been the largest importer of gold into their nation? Who's been importing the most amount of gold? China. India. Russia. Wait, why are they importing so much gold? Because they're not banking on using the US dollar as the reserve currency moving forward. So what's gold? It's a hedge against the current system in place. So if the current financial system collapses and the US dollar is no longer the world reserve currency, what are we going to have to rely upon? Who's going to be rich? Who's going to still have money? The people who have gold. So it's not me buying a $3,000-$4,000 banger ass gold chain that I'm going to use to pick up your honey with. But it's the fact that that money's not gone. It's not gone. It's here. It's on my wrist. It's going to appreciate. That money is better off in that gold chain, where if I ever want to sell it down the road, my money's still there. It went up with the price of gold. You buy an 18 karat, and I only buy 18 karat. This is 18 karat. The gold chain is going to be 18 karat. You buy 18 karat gold, your money is going to be there in 10 years. It's going to be more too. You understand? All these things were self-education. I decided to learn these things. I decided to understand how money works. I don't just use it to buy things and pay my bills. No. How do I use this as a tool? What's the tool here? How do I make more money for my money? Okay, makes sense. And then crypto, same thing, right? I learned about liquidity pools, how you can take your assets that now you just don't need number go up in order for you to be able to make money. No, you can actually take the assets that you've accumulated, provide liquidity to liquidity pools, earn fees on that liquidity. So it's essentially you just literally making money off of your money. All that shit. It's just, there's so many things for you guys to learn, okay? But again, the overarching point I'm making is this was all self-education. I went to school to be an engineer. I learned physics. I learned calculus 1, 2, 3, 4. I learned a bunch of math shit. Nobody taught me about money. Who taught me about money? Me. I went and figured it out, okay? Because I knew these motherfuckers weren't going to teach me how to get rich. How many of your college professors are driving around in fucking Lamborghinis and Ferraris? Zero. How much money does your college professor make? Probably what I make in a month. So who do you think is going to teach you how to get rich? Me or the college professors? Being inside the Taylor's Code or spending 100 grand, 150 grand, 200 grand to go to university? What do you think is the better investment? You want to be a doctor? Be my fucking guest. You want to be a lawyer? Be my fucking guest. We need those. You want to go to school for that? Absolutely. Do it. But for the people who don't want to be lawyers, don't want to be doctors. They just want to make money. They want to be entrepreneurs. They want to live a life of freedom. Well, then you better fucking figure out how to make money outside of university. They're not going to teach you. That's not what they do. The biggest scam of all time is the people who go to school for psychology degrees. The people who go to school for fucking political science. Like, what the fuck are you doing wasting your time and wasting your money? It's a scam. They're scamming you. Okay? So, outside of that, gentlemen, the point is continue to self-educate. If you're always learning, you're always growing. And if you're always learning and you're always growing, you're going to feel a lot better about yourself. You're not going to be depressed. You're not going to be anxious. I promise you the depression, the anxiety, it's all a response to your environment. It's all a response to how your life is going. As soon as I took my life and my personal growth seriously, no anxiety, no depression. I go to the fucking gym every day. I work. I make money every week. I grow. I learn. There's no time for anxiety. There's no time for depression. Okay? The anxiety, the depression is not a mistake. Your body's not doing it because it's broken. Your body's doing it to tell you that you're fucking up. And you don't need drugs to fix it. You don't need a therapist. I need better help. I need to talk to my therapist about my problems. Brother, fuck your therapist. Go do something about it. Don't just sit there and talk about it. These people, the talkers, the motion people, the people who like to talk about what they're going to do and talk about the things that they're doing and talk about all the preparation they're doing about what they're eventually going to do and how they're eventually going to make money and how they're eventually going to go to the gym. All these talkers, the therapist people, they don't do anything. Action changes. Movement changes. Because at the very least, even if you fuck up, through action, you learn something. You grow. You develop. You change your position. You're anxious and depressed because you're in this one current location and you won't fucking move. And you can talk all you want about being anxious and depressed. It's not going to change the fact that you're anxious or depressed. The only thing that will change it is action, movement, learn. Okay, so what am I doing to educate myself right now? So this is what I'm reading right now. All right? This is education too. This is self-education. The Holy Bible. Okay? So I got my post. I'm reading this every single night before I go to bed. Just started it from the beginning again, right? So I'm on chapter 11, Genesis. Right? Genesis chapter 11. Education. What am I going to read after the Bible? I'm going to read the Torah. Why am I going to read the Torah? Education. There's something in there that I might not know. Well, obviously there's something in there that I don't know yet. I want to know. Teach me. Why do people follow the Torah? Why are people Jewish? Let me read it. Why are people Christian? Why are people Catholic? Let me read it. What am I going to read after the Torah? Guess what? Take a wild guess what I'm going to read after the Torah. What am I going to read? Any guesses? The Quran. I'm going to read that one too. Because there's lessons in there. There's parables in there. There are things that I can learn that I don't already know. Once I know them, am I going to be less or more effective? More effective. The better I can lead, the better I can build, the better I can earn money, the better I can pour into you, the people who trust me, the people who follow me, the people I mentor. The more I know, the more I'm educated, the more I grow, the better you do. That's how it works. Educate. Yeah, the subs are cooking. We got the subs flying. Okay? So I encourage you this weekend, when we get off, don't go right back to fucking going drinking and smoking the weed and all that bullshit. Decide what you're going to learn this weekend. You're going to do it tonight and you're going to do it tomorrow. It doesn't have to be the whole day. A couple hours. That's all it takes. A couple hours. You'd be surprised what you can learn in a couple hours of just focused education, not scrolling Instagram. Just focus for a couple hours. Think about how much you can learn. Decide what you're going to learn this weekend. Learn it. Educate yourself. Take notes. Take notes. I take notes when I learn these things. I don't just watch YouTube videos. No, I genuinely, I take notes. Right? Take notes. And watch how quickly you grow. Right? Once every weekend, you just pick one topic. Watch how fast you grow. I'm telling you, it's a fucking cheat code. This is all I've done for the last 4 years. Just learn something. Learn something. Learn something. Then it makes you more interesting. Makes you more of a gentleman. Now you can teach women more whenever you talk to them and go on dates. Now you can be more Now you can be more of an asset for the friends and the network around you, because the more you know, the more value you can provide, the better everybody does. Don't be the guy that shows up who can't provide any value and all you do is take information from everybody else. You're not going to be around for too long. You're not going to be around for too long. You better start paying, right? Symbiotic relationship. That's what it needs to be. All right, gentlemen. Fucking cracking. Tons of live viewers across all platforms, getting fucking subscribers, ripping through Kick. We got people on X, people on YouTube. Beautiful. Like, comment, subscribe. We're gonna be here every Saturday. Another university meeting next week. I don't miss. Every weekend I'm gonna do one. Last weekend couldn't do it on Saturday, did it on Sunday. I'll still do it. We're gonna be here. Okay, 104 days every year. Others lose, we take. If you're not already a part of the network in the University for the Ultimate Professional, where you can learn directly from myself, Bobby, Logan, whether it's crypto, actually investing, making money in the markets, whether it's e-commerce store, you want to build an e-com store, generating income from e-com, or the fitness campus with Logan, it's all inside of the Taylor's Code. Okay? The link is in the description for the website. Only for March, we have a discount code, TC, Taylor's Code, TC444. You do that at checkout, it's going to be $40 off your first month. March 31st and after, code won't work anymore. It's only for March. Okay? You'll become a part of our private Discord. You'll be able to get access to myself and the other professors inside. We're going to grow this network. We're going to continue to do car meetups. We got another rally we're going to plan for the beginning of April. We'll get the gentleman out there with the GT, the C63 AMG. We got the S-Class Benz coming, BZ's Jeep. We're going to get the fucking car rallies cracking. We're going to start traveling across the country to see all the members. We're going to grow. It's happening. Okay? So if you want to be a part of a winning team, you want to be a part of a winning organization with people who think like you, with people who want to make money like you, people who can actually grow you and put you in positions to win, join the Taylor's Code. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Should I share my screen? I'll share my screen. I'll show you the website real quick for those of you who want to see what we're taking a look at. So extra scenes. Look. Come to the website, thetaylorscode.com. Professional just gets you access to the premium Discord and part of the network. Gentlemen, premium Discord plus the private crypto plays. That's where I'm going to show you where I'm positioning, what I'm buying, when I'm selling, how to profit, what kind of TA I'm doing for individuals, individual portfolio support. You want me to look at your portfolio, help you design a winning portfolio? We'll do that as well. And then if you want access to the entire Discord, the entire network, all the professors and all the campuses, you go for the hero program, because I know there's heroes out there. Not everybody, but there's some heroes out there. All right, gentlemen, I'll see you guys inside. Let me fucking do a little Mr. Producer. Let me do a little Mr. Producer. We got all them hoes. Educate, gentlemen. I want to be around fucking geniuses. Geniuses. Not mediocre. I don't do mediocre. I want geniuses around me. People who know what the fuck they're talking about. Tell me something that's going to make me think. Teach me something that's going to make me fucking rethink my whole worldview. Very, very rarely does somebody actually teach me something. Teach me something. Be that guy. All right, gentlemen. Appreciate you guys. You guys are the fucking best. And we're going to win big. All right? I appreciate you guys. We're going to win fucking huge. Huge. This organization just started months ago. Not even a year old. Months. Just a couple months ago. We're going to be fucking massive because we're going to continue to attract winners. All right, gentlemen. Good stream. We'll see you guys inside the Discord. Peace.